now for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. Local sports talk host here in Cleveland, actually ESPN 850, has made claim based on the current college football rankings that Ohio State should be ranked number 2. Well, tell them how really biased you are, why don't ya? California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed the Fair Pay to Play Act. That spells doom for the NCAA. And, of course, from Week 4 in the NFL, some of the most notable team performances. But up first, pay-per-view boxing clash, if some might want to call it that. Errol Spence, Shawn Porter. Joining me on the show today, or the program, I should say, none other than my cat from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, Brother Rich. What's happening, man?
My dear brother, my friend, I'm always, as usual, always honored and humbled to be on the show with you and my neighbor, my dear friend, Double J. Go Dog Pound.
You know what, man? Keep this soliloquy to yourself. And on the other side of the ledger, my man from up north, a.k.a., excuse me, did I say Joey James, a.k.a. Double J? Tell the people what you say.
I am reporting live from Caddy Long's in Chicago, Illinois today, and just like Brother Rich, I cannot express enough my gratitude for being on the program. Go Dog Pound.
Yeah, right, got you. Anywho, Double J, whatever it is, you got on your end, man. I hear every now and again I hear a pop in the headphones here. So, you know, if you would just kind of do your little checks and balances over there on that end so we can make sure the audio is good on this side. All right. Yeah, I heard it again right there, too. All right, let's get into it right quick, fellas. We don't have a lot of time today. Let's talk about this Errol Spence and Shawn Porter fight. Double J, you saw it, of course, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I wasn't missing that one.
I'm sure you weren't. Brother Rich, did you see it, too?
I did not.
Okay, that's fine. I did not either. But let me say this. We've had him on the show before a time or two. Somebody's making noise and it's really Yeah. We've had him on the show a time or two, my boxing analyst, whose knowledge and expertise when it comes to the sport, rivals Al Heyman and anybody else that you see on TV in the sport. Because I tell people all the time, just because you're not on TV don't mean you don't know what you're talking about. This dude done been with these guys, then fought against, rest his soul, cats like Vernon Forrest, and then sparred with Floyd and all of that. You know, he just had an unfortunate car injury or accident that derailed his career because he was on his way. And he is my cousin, and I don't say that because he's my cousin, but I'm telling you right now, Tariq, I talked to him, our boxing analyst, again, and I asked him because, I didn't see it, and I asked him, I said, man, what was your take? He said, look, man, he said, I don't know why folks acting like that Spence, and this is no disrespect to Spence because I do like Spence, but in this fight in particular, he said, I don't know why people are acting like Spence's decision and what he did was just so decisive. He said, Spence got the win, but he really didn't win. I said, oh, really? Elaborate. He said, look, man, if that the knockdown was flush, from my understanding. He said, had that knockdown, he said, even with the knockdown, first of all, it was a split decision. So that in and of itself tells you something. He said, hadn't been for that knockdown, he said, Shawn would have won. I said, what? He said, yeah, man. He said, this fight is whole. He said, it really should have been a draw is what it should have been. Now, Double J, you saw it, and based on our boxing analyst, who, unfortunately, I couldn't get him on today, based on his assessment, and I, of course, again, did not see it. Brother Rich did not see it, so we're going to go to you on this one. Do you agree with our boxing analyst, Tariq's assessment? If not, tell us why, of course, and what was your assessment of the Spence-Porter match, clash, or whatever?
Well, yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually going to double down on his summary of it. Simply put, I don't think anybody expected Porter to put out the type of fight and rattle him the way that he did. So again, when you're talking about getting a split decision,
hold on.
You had a knock. Yep.
Yeah, for whatever reason, man, I keep hearing this pink, pink, pink sound whenever I don't know if you're moving or what. Okay, I don't hear it now. Well, go ahead, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So again, when you factor in that he had a knockdown and he still went to a split decision, I don't know if simply put, Porter put up a fight that I knew he had in him, but I don't think the rest of the world really did.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on your end, Double J, but I hear you.
I think there's a shortage. Are you hearing your headphones? It sounds like there's a short somewhere in somebody's connection.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, and I'm good over here. And I only hear it when you talk, Double J. Are you on your car phone or something? Or you got the Bluetooth or something going?
No. Yeah, it's the headphones.
Wow. Oh, wow. All right. Well, we try to get through this one. Man, I hate that that's going on. That's really not good here. But, yeah, man, like I said, we on this platform, program, or P-rogram, as some like to say, we were not surprised. I think, and I mean, with so many shows into this, in the cachet, I'd have to go back and search and see what show it actually was titled, where we discussed this upcoming, prior to the fight, we discussed it. And we all kind of unanimously were like, Shawn going to do better than what a lot of folks were giving him credit for, and a lot of folks thought. Because, again, I am somewhat biased, okay, towards Shawn because, he's from here, from Cleveland, and I had had the pleasure of meeting him and his father way some years back when they were kind of like first starting out. Shawn may have had a couple of professional fights under his belt, but it was early on in his career. They used to train up at Gold's Gym. They got a boxing ring in the back of the gym, real nice setup actually. And I would go up there and but see, a lot of people don't notice. I think I mentioned this before, so forgive me for being redundant. And if you haven't heard it, now you'll hear it again for the first time. But Shawn used to spar with Manny Pacquiao. I got to show you all these pictures, man, that they gave me, and we took pictures and stuff that day where, Freddie Roach and so on and so forth. So, and this is a time when Manny was, the little giant, with, we saw what Manny did to Ricky Hatton, the little giant with power. And then, two, what I liked about Shawn's training at the time, and I know his dad, even though they're out in Vegas now, I know his dad still continues to do this. He would have him spar against guys way bigger. I mean, well, not heavyweight bigger, but bigger than he was, especially at that time. You know what I mean? He said, man, you got to get used to, they wasn't, going hard, but hard enough that he was, felt them punches. So any guy of his stature, I knew Shawn was going to be in the mix. And again, that's no knock against Spence because I like him too. But, I think, again, we all said it here on this program that we're not surprised by Shawn going the distance, And I asked my cousin, I said, man, so with the knockdown, how did it go down? He said, man, yeah. I said, Shawn just didn't see it coming. Oh, he said, yeah, man, he walked kind of lightweight, walked right into it, He said, but real talk, man, has Shawn not got knocked down? He said it would have most likely been a draw. And based on how he scored it and everything, he said, but the knockdown kind of tilted it slightly, and of course Spence got the win. But more than any of that, I'll go back to the fact that with a knockdown, it was a split decision. That right there, leaves a lot to be desired for me. So I don't know what's next for Spence, or Shawn at this point. But I tell you what, somebody got to fight Bud Crawford. Do you agree with that, Double J? And it's got to be sooner rather than later.
Oh, absolutely.
What? One word answer from you today? That's it? My gosh, man. Egads, man.
I agree.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that is. Whatever that noise I'm hearing, it is on your end. So, I mean, if there's anything you can do, I would appreciate it, man. If not, so be it. We just roll with it. Double J, if you would, man, because for whatever reason, my extra monitor here is not acting correctly. If you would, moving right along, because we're getting ready to move on here to this local sports talk host here, Tony Rizzo. Some of you all might be familiar with him. Some of you all might not be not. But if you're not, for those of you who are not, you can go look him up. He's main host for ESPN 850, here in Cleveland. Oh, I'm sorry, and let me throw the number out here. If you're up and around, you're out and about, you want to give us a shout, my bad, fellas. The number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Yeah, it's time for some medication. Senility is real. Father Time is undefeated. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. Yeah, Double J, if you would pull up on your phone or laptop, I know you always got some sort of device handy. The top 10 teams currently in the college football playoff as they're ranked. I had them up, and then again, like I said, my monitors here is acting up because we're going to tie that in. I'll tell you once you get it up there. Just let me know when you do. We'll tie that into what we're getting ready to discuss here. Now, I'm riding home the other day, and I got to have my sports fix, right? It's kind of a bit of a challenge riding home in the car, not listening to anything at all. And sometimes it's peaceful. Then, sometimes you just got to hear something. So I got my dial set to ESPN 850. Every now and again. They're not like one of my favorites or whatnot, but when I'm bored, I tune in right quick, see if I could pick up anything that we could discuss here, yada, yada, yada. And I hear them discussing, Ohio State's, big-time victory over Nebraska. And Rizzo says to his co-host, Hammer, I forget it, Aaron Goldhammer is his name. He's pretty popular and been on, NBA The Jump. They called him in. So these guys, because it's ESPN, right? So anyway, he's saying to Hammer, what's the college, what's the rankings or whatever, what's going on? And, Hammer runs it down what the rankings are. And then Rizzo goes and, oh, man, Ohio State should be number 2. They smashed Nebraska. And don't get it wrong. Nebraska's they're a good team now. They were ranked 25th. Really?
Well,
and hold on. Yeah, Double J, whatever you're doing, it's kind of screeching too in my ear. So but anyway, hold that thought, Double J. My thing is, first of all, you know how I feel about rankings. They can be misleading. How often have we seen, not just in college football, but a team ranked 6th or 7th play against a team ranked 15th, and then based on the eye test, you're like, wow, okay, so the rankings were a misnomer or misleading, to say the least. So I'm not buying into that, the Nebraska being ranked 25th, like somehow, somewhere or another, Ohio State blowing them out. That should be something to be cause for validation. Stop it. Like I said, tell them how biased you really are. Why don't you? Hey, look, I got my favorites. But you all know my motto. I'm going to tell it like a TIE is, whether I like it or not, or whether I like the team or they my favorites or not. I'm going to tell you about them. You know what I'm saying? That noise. But I say, don't let that win over Nebraska, don't let that fool you just because they was ranked as, or in the top rank or whatever. Because if you look at Nebraska going into last season even, and this season currently, again, the eye test, them being ranked 25th was, what do you want to call it? I say they was ranked 25th by default. And the only reason they were ranked 25th is because Mount Union didn't want it. And Mount Union, if you all know who Mount Union is.
When you said you were talking about your favorite, you were about to talk about your favorite. I thought you had switched to the NFL. You were about to talk about the Cowboys. I didn't know you were still talking about the overrated, always as usual overrated, or they should be called the overrated Ohio State. But I didn't know you were talking about that overrated program.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, they should be called the overrated state. But anyway, Double J, if you would, could you pull up the rankings for us here?
Absolutely. So starting first is Alabama.
That's
followed
better.
By Clemson.
I don't know what you did, but that's better. Well, go ahead. Alabama, Clemson. Go ahead.
Yep. Then you have Georgia, and then it's Ohio State. So Ohio State is currently ranked at 4th.
Double J. Now it was
then
good for.
You have LSU, Oklahoma, Auburn, Wisconsin, Notre Dame, and finally your rival, the Florida Gators.
Okay. Now, stop right there. For whatever, I don't know what it is, Double J, but for whatever reason, this anytime you talk, man, I hear it every now and again. I don't know, so just keep doing your checks and balances. We're gonna keep it rolling. Oklahoma's 6th. You really mean, again, Ohio State has, and the only reason I am so, and Brother Rich, I'll let you weigh in here in a second. The only reason I'm so appalled at folks popping their collar about the Muckeyes, especially this season. You beat Miami of Ohio. You beat a Nebraska team that's trash. Take Ohio State out of the Big Ten. Wisconsin is something to discuss, you know what I mean? But, you know, they had a couple of lean years here as of late. Penn State, but what else is really in the Big Ten when it comes to Big Ten football? I don't want to hear about it. And then, two, unlike the NFL and the NBA and the NHL, and I don't know how some of the other main entities do their scheduling, but you as a college university, you get to pick who you want to play. Now, for the sake of comparison, here's all I'm saying about competition, okay? Don't come in here talking fly because you beat the little guy. Come to me when you beat the guy equal to or greater than you. Then we ain't nothing to talk about. Well, Alabama and Clemson is the argument from many. They play pansies too. Yeah, but they got a good track record when it comes for playing the big boys. They do them the same way they do the pansies. That's all I'm saying. So Alabama and Clemson, we're going to sit them to the side for a minute. At the end of the day, man, let me give you a rundown of what Texas A&M is dealing with this year. Because I say, like Texas A&M, I'd love to see a team like Ohio State put Bama, LSU, Georgia, Auburn, and Clemson on that schedule. And then I ask you, Brother Rich, and Double J, but we'll go to you first, Brother Rich. Put all them teams I just named on Ohio State's schedule this season and a couple seasons ago when Clemson tore that mouth out in the championship. Are they still undefeated? Overrated?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Double J?
Absolutely not. And again, here's why I tell you,
go ahead.
This is an overrated football team we're talking about. This is how their schedule always is, exactly how you described them earlier. Loaded so they can get ready, then they beat up on each other in the conference in the Big Ten. But when it comes to performing in terms of and remember now, the thing about Ohio State is they get the talent. There's no question about their ability to get talent.
Thank you for pointing that out.
The question becomes what they do with that talent. Oh, absolutely. And what they do with that talent and how that talent performs. And to me, that talent never, I shouldn't say never, they seldom meet the hurdle that's put before them in terms of what their program, with 100,000 loyal fans in front of them every weekend, what you anticipate a program like that is supposed to generate. They don't. So anytime I hear that, and remember, let me caveat. I must tell you up front, I am not a fan of the overrated Ohio State Buckeyes.
Neither am I. Yeah, but you talking about the reason why I think they get a boost in the rankings, the college football playoffs, whether it's the computer system, BCS, BS, whatever it is or not. They always get a boost, I say, based on their boosters. Double J, have you say?
Well, I'm going to disagree a little bit. I think, part of that is why they claim the SEC is the SEC, is the level of competition. However, so you can't take that into account. However, their off-season schedule, as you pointed out, they are fully in control of. So I don't agree with the original question, which is they should be number 2. I could make a case because of how Clemson struggled with North Carolina that they could maybe bump up to number 3.
Oh, Double J, I don't know what's going on your end, man. I'm loving what you're saying, man, but it's some sort of audio hiccup, man. It really is. It don't go all the time, but it's pronounced enough where, it's messing with your response somewhat. But I heard what you said though, and I agree with you. I don't take nothing away from that. That's truth right there. Okay, that's fine. But let's be real now. Based on the eye test, not rankings, not BPI and those things that just analytics and things, statistics everybody try to use, as a substantive measure. I'm telling you right now, I've seen enough college football, and the season is still early, but I've seen enough from the teams that are in the top 10 where I'm telling you right now, LSU, Auburn, Oklahoma, and if not those three, definitely Georgia should be or have a more of a valid case for being number 2. See, my thing is this. You can't be selective and objective at the same time when we're assessing or discussing a team, player, etc. Do I need to mention the fact ad nauseum, I know I do, that I'm a Canes fan. I know everybody, oh, here we go again. I tell you right now, they yeah. I mean, I see some flashes of, possible resurgence, but it ain't going to be no time soon. Terrible the Canes are right now. I'll be the first one to point out, no matter if that's my favorite team or my favorite player. Hey, look, no, okay, I like the guy's talent, or I like it, but look, man, you got to cut out this and cut that. So I'll be the first. But I'm telling you right now, man, I'm not going to say they should be number 2 when there's other teams. Like I said, let's just stay with Georgia. What so far this season, if you watch Georgia play and Ohio State play, would make you say out of your right mind that Ohio State Buckeyes football should be number 2, if it ain't biased? Oh, okay. Come on, man. Come on. Now, I was born that night, not last night. Don't insult my intelligence area skills. I don't know where I was going with that, but you see what I'm saying, all right? Yeah. So, I mean, but do you agree or disagree with my assessment, Double J, or what? I mean, please, by all means, tell me what's happening here.
Go ahead, get him, bro, Rich, please.
Yeah, that's on your end, Double J, because I heard as soon as you start talking. Yeah, Brother Rich, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, I got it. I can only get him from this point of view. I can get his back on this conversation because I, like you, tend to agree that LSU, the surprise to me in college football, LSU could be. I can make a stronger case for them because again, Ohio State. No disrespect to the host of this program, is like the Cowboys.
Oh,
when
what?
they succeed up to a point, they're supposed to. Meaning this, they can afford the good talent. When they succeed, it's up to a certain point. Okay, so you're not surprised. Okay, so all right, they won. They're doing okay. Then their success is not judged by whether or not they even go 8-0. Their success is judged by what they do in terms of bowls and how far they go there, national championship.
Yeah, right.
That's the kind of program they are. Let's be honest about that. They're not even the idea of them, the conversation about them, whether or not them being ranked here or there or this time. Now, you talking about LSU, a program who is down there in Louisiana, who is fighting, and they're coming. You talking about people who are playing football at a different level and with a different passion every day. You're talking about a different kind of grit and grind to that kind of football down there. This is luxury football at these big luxury programs where you have 100,000 people watching you every weekend and boosters that are contributing hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to your program, where you saw some of these football, LSU, matter of fact, is one of them, where they have these locker rooms that are better than professional football teams. Oh, no, we got to get serious about what we're dealing with when we're talking about a program like Ohio State and LSU and Michigan. And, oh, yeah, when they're doing well, they're supposed to do well.
Yeah, no crap. Again, man, Joe Burrows is balling for LSU. And I will pull up the tape at some point, not today, but I will pull up the tape at some point and say I think we said it here a time or two about watch out for LSU. Double J, I even posted a couple of times in the group that you and I are in together. That I think they had something maybe a few weeks back. Who is your top 4 teams in the CFB currently? And I had LSU as 1. Of course I had Bama and Clemson as 1 and 2 because I think when it's all said and done, even though Trevor Lawrence is not playing up to what Trevor Lawrence did last season, I still say that, they'll be in it at the end. I think those last 2, those other 2 spots are kind of up for grabs. But things continue the way that they continue to be Georgia and LSU, I believe. With Auburn, sneaking up. And we'll see. Florida down there at 10. They might, when it all – Oklahoma. I'm sorry, Oklahoma. To me, I think – let me put it this way. I think it's 3 teams. If everything stays the same, I think it's 3 teams that's fighting for those last 2 spots. And I think it's Oklahoma, LSU, and Auburn. I do. And then, of course, we throw Georgia in the mix too. So I'll say 4 teams, right? Yeah. But, yeah, at the end of the day, you can't justifiably say that Ohio State should be number 2. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you got to throw out the strength of schedule. Didn't we have this conversation about 10 minutes ago? Yeah, you got to throw out the strength of schedule.
Right.
All right, fellas, moving on to this new bill that was signed by California Governor Gavin Newsom, the Fair Pay to Play Act. The number to call if you're up and around, you're out and about, you want to give us a shout, is area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. Boy, I wish Double J wasn't having the audio difficulties on this side because, he be spitting the facts sometimes. Unless when it comes to the Browns. Okay.
Oh, come on.
And again, and we heard the clipping. My gosh. The Fair Pay to Play Act, as we all know, we've discussed that here as well, will allow for college athletes to receive compensatory sponsorship. Now, there is one caveat I want to point out to folks. Most people think that as a result of this bill being signed and put into play in California, that now means the NCAA will start paying athletes. No, it does not mean that. In short, the bill only means that the NCAA can no longer penalize those getting paid, but not paying, as I said, all athletes. So, for instance, if you are some highly touted recruit or whatever it is, and I guess your time is coming for you to go to the NFL or whatever. Well, I'm not seeing the NFL or whatnot, but if you're some high-profile recruit or whatnot, and some company wants to endorse you or whatever, and in California, of course, then you can do that without any penalty from the NCAA as it currently stands. However, said on Uninterrupted show by LeBron James and all them, and I quote, "It's this Fair Pay to Play Act. It's going to change college sports for the better by having the interest of the athletes on par with the interest of the institutions." And I agree with that. That makes a whole lot of sense. But I'm wondering why this is coming from certain parties because, it ain't like you didn't have a Hummer. But anyway, yeah. And, here again, I've long since said that, institutions should police themselves because there's no longer a need, as far as I'm concerned, for the NCAA, as was the case, of course, at the inception of college football, and due to the depths of the brutality and the deaths included that of course pale in comparison to today's violence that we unfortunately call sport. And I mentioned, I think it was the last show or 2 shows ago, where ESPN is doing a sort of like a 5 or 6 part, different type documentaries on the 150 to celebrate the 150 years of college football. And I think the one in particular I've been watching is This Is Us or something like that, or This Is Football. I can't think of the name of it right now. Yeah, and then if you go back and look at they went all the way back to when the inception of college football, where before the forward pass type deal or whatnot. A lot of people were dying on football fields, and so much death was occurring that that's where the NCAA came about. They installed this institution to kind of police and regulate, the types of things and rules and stuff that players had to abide by or colleges had to abide by when they played the sport. It cleaned it up a little bit, but, it seemed like every week somebody was being carted off. It was fatalities. So they had, there was a need for them then. But as of right now, this 2019, universities should police themselves. There's no reason, for the NCAA. And then, too, I'm amazed at how the NCAA is up here acting like anybody else but them to, quote unquote, pocket profit off something that ain't even theirs in the first place is illegal. Didn't we discuss this, Brother Rich? The NCAA being an $8 billion industry? Didn't we discuss this?
We absolutely did.
Okay.
Not just an $8 billion industry, an $8 billion nonprofit agency.
Oh, okay. Thank you for being Pacific. I'm being facetious, specific. Thank you, Brother Rich, because I got to do that. Some people out there be like, you don't know how to spell. I say, yeah, but you know how to play PlayStation, don't you? Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, nonprofit, right? Right, got you. That's why I said to pocket profit, man. Double J, what you say on this one?
Well, that's just it. At least we're moving a step in the right direction. And pointed out, to you both, the Mark Cuban take on the ability for a third party to come in and kind of change the narrative here. And I think that will likely be the case first in basketball, followed by potentially you could see a swing from the XFL even, which I think that would be probably the best business move that they could make regarding the overall quality of the product on the field.
It's bad, man. That audio
to
clip
be able to
is bad.
page from your look at what happened to Johnny Manziel years ago. All he did was sign autographs. Again, his own, nobody else was writing it for him. You're talking about him signing his name. And, he came under fire for it. Sure, there was a little bit of some questionable character after. But overall, in the future, if the same circumstances were to arise, at least there would be no scrutiny for the player if, of course, they reside somewhere within California.
Double J, is it any way possible? Can you call us? Maybe do you got another phone? Maybe is there any other means to call us? Because I'm here. How about try that? I'll drop you because I'm gonna have you kind of like repeat that. But whatever is going on your end, man, it's really clipping and it's messing up your response, man. Tell you the truth.
Okay.
All right, so just hang up and then just call me. Just try to call me back. Yeah, from another one. Yeah, and we'll try again. Yeah, this is you listen, of course, to the Shop Report with Barbershop J, Brother Rich, and Double J. Double J will be giving us a call back here hopefully shortly. But yeah, Brother Rich, to his point, the whole Johnny Manziel thing. You wanna add to that?
Well, I can add to it in the sense that as we understood, we spoke about this, as you said, the listeners can go back and pull up the tape. Well, we said this a few months ago, that this rule was coming down the pipe, and we saw they're not going to be able to deny the state of California, because now when an athlete wants to come out of high school and they decide now I'll just come play for UCLA. I'll just come play football for UCLA, or go play football at USC, or go play at Stanford, or go play at one of those schools, Cal Berkeley, and then I can sell my jersey and sell my likeness, and or stay in college and play for several years and play in the Pac-10 and then get my money and then go to the NFL. You can't punish me. So what are they going to do? What are you going to say? You're going to sanction the California schools? They can't play in the – no, this is the beginning of the end of the NCAA, or they adapt.
You only got –
this is it. No doubt about that.
Yeah, you only got two options as far as I'm concerned. But I'm glad you mentioned the not playing against them. Ohio State, here we go again with them, athletic director Gene Smith came out and said that they wouldn't schedule no California teams if this thing – then I think this is right before the governor signed the bill. Maybe, I think it was. So Ohio State wouldn't schedule not playing on California teams. Big deal. Whoop-de-doo. We knew that. Probably y'all weren't going to do that no way because, you stood the, chance of, your record not being.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Unblemished.
Who cares?
When the bowl series jumps off. You know what I mean? You're going to say that like y'all not scheduling Miami of Ohio or Valdosta State or St. Ignatius or St. Edwards, two of our local high school teams here in Cleveland, Northeast Ohio. Yeah, I'd pick St. Ignatius to tell you the truth. But anywho, and the NCAA's pushback, on that was that as well. They just trying to preserve their capitalistic ideologies, philosophies, and anything else that falls under that umbrella. And it's coming to a head, man. It's done. Your days are numbered. They truly are numbered. And I'm glad that they're numbered because for a long time, nobody questioned, at least not when I was growing up. I never even thought to question. I thought, the NCAA and college football were synonymous. You know what I mean? They were, hand in hand, But then, again, as you get a little older, your mind should be, start to get a little bit more developed. You say, well, wait a minute. That thing exists, and it is it's here, but why is it here? I'm checking to see, why do you need to be here? Oh, you really don't. Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. something that was put in play.
Especially when you don't do the thing that you claim you initially were there to do.
Okay, Brother Rich.
This was working.
Hold on. Repeat
Yes,
that for the folks in the back because I don't think they heard you. Especially when it don't do what?
Especially when it does not do the thing that it professes it exists to do. It professes it exists to make sure that the student athlete has the best and fullest experience, that they're looking out for the welfare of the student athlete. You cannot have been, it was working until people began to investigate the records of the basketball players in North Carolina and the football players at Clemson, and they found out that these people were not taking classes, they were not graduating, they were not going to class. People were taking tests for them. They were barely even in this modern age. Some of these young athletes were not even taking the basic fundamental classes that would allow them to be able to handle the multi-millions of dollars that they were getting. They were ultimately about to inherit because of their tremendous basketball talent. So they were failing even at their basic fundamental quote-unquote duty as an institution. So the hypocrisy became manifest for the world to see that you're telling us, and then we find out you exist as a non-profit. So you telling us that you're in a non-profit, but the coaches are making money, the coaches are signing sneaker deals,
right.
The universities have sneaker deals. You're telling the players they cannot, under any circumstance, wear any other sneaker, even if my brother works for Foot Locker and he can get me free sneakers, I must wear the one you tell me. Come on, man. The hypocrisy was everywhere to be found, and people just started discovering and uncovering.
You know what? Another word pops into mind when you say everything you just said, control. And I'm sure the definition of control, if you look it up, people, because I'm not going to even give it to you here because I don't want folks to say, oh, you sound biased, because that's not the case. I want you to look it up for yourself. Look up the word C-O-T, roll, and then you can then get back at me. And we'll go from there. Double J's back with us. Double J, go ahead and would you, if you could remember, I know Father Time is knocking on your door too, but if you can remember, go ahead and repeat what you said there a minute ago about, the Johnny Manziel and all that.
Well, yeah, essentially here, Mark Cuban went on Fox Business and basically stated that, this is going to allow, third parties to come in and present offers to these kids because they've simply failed, that being the NCAA, at really, as Brother Rich pointed out, as what they were supposed to do, which is serve as a governing body for the best interest of the athlete. As I so coined on the last program that the NCAA now represents for never cared about athletes, you're going to have some opportunities here where in the past you look at examples like Johnny Manziel, where he had signed his own autograph and came under immense scrutiny right before the draft, where this new law coming into effect in California would allow these kids to profit off their own name. And let's face it, that's your worth. That is your value. That is what is supposed to come with you. And so to be able to say that, hey, son, I need you to come in here and sign 300 helmets, none of which you'll see a dime for, it sounds a little ridiculous in 2019.
And that's putting it lightly or putting it mildly or being nice about it. I mean, just stop and think, man. I want everybody, just if you need to, just close your eyes for a minute and visualize this. Sign 300 helmets. And them 300 helmets, I guarantee you, going to go right on eBay or on Amazon to be auctioned off or sold off at 3 times the amount or whatever it is. Okay, didn't you said 300 helmets? Didn't you say that, Double J? I just want to make sure I heard that number, right?
That's right, absolutely.
Okay, so we've seen NFL memorabilia items, depending on how long ago. Of course, a throwback Lawrence Taylor jersey is going to be worth more than a modern Tim Couch jersey, if you would. Sorry, Tim. But you get the idea. Either way it goes, NFL memorabilia. And if it's autographed, that makes it even worth more. So, and don't get it twisted, people. That 300 number, that's not no made-up number because them guys, they often be doing that at these events. You know what I mean? That's why they, they charge and so on. So, not why they charge, but I guess why the event holders or people who put the thing together charge. But anyway, 300-something helmets. Let's just say An NFL helmet by itself, if you ordered it from Rydell, is about, what, $250? Maybe even more now. I'm just going off of something I saw a couple of years ago. Probably even more.
Right.
An official NFL helmet by itself with no autograph, okay?
Right.
So now let that helmet at, let's say, $300 a pop, all right? Be signed by, I don't know, pick a current NFL player that's a beast. Now, I ain't talking about the NFL player who come off the bench every now and again. Let's say Khalil Mack. Now, the value of that helmet didn't increase to what? $600, $700, $1,000 maybe?
Right.
And then you sell 300 of them? But you telling me Khalil Mack don't get a dime from that? And you got the nerve to look me in my face with a straight face and say, and when I say, wait a minute, hold up, that's something wrong, you be like, what you mean something's wrong? And you look at me like I'm crazy because I done peeped your move? Man, listen, I get it. We in a capitalist society. But greed has no place in no society. And we all know the saying when it comes to greed. When you get greedy, things don't work out. Yeah, and Double J, I didn't get a chance to listen to that Mark Cuban piece, but I am. You know what I mean? Man, look, man, the curtain done been pulled back from y'all. All you greedy capitalists, y'all better be glad my mama listened to this show. The curtain is being pulled back. You've been exposed like a wart. Any last words on that before we move on, fellas? Nope. Good. Got it. The number to call is area code. What were you going to say, Double J?
Well, the only thing I want to kind of speak into existence here is to my point prior to the technical difficulties there. I'm intrigued to see what third parties can use this. You spoke about capitalists and that see this as a business opportunity to be able to pay these kids and say, forget Alabama. How about the, Philadelphia fusion of the XFL? And then after a year, you're eligible for the NFL.
Hold that thought, Brother Rich.
LeBron and his crew to lead that.
You said look for LeBron and his crew to lead that?
I said that's already happening. Look for LeBron and his crew to lead that. In terms of offering, you saw that with Rich Paul getting one of his clients a contract to work for a sneaker company during his what would have been his quote unquote freshman year in college, rather, and then play for another team or something like that while he waits out going to the NBA. And so you're going to see more and more of these things where they're going to be offered opportunities to come to California and do different things and make money and sign with shoe companies and do deals. And you're going to see this happening. This is getting ready to be a serious matter that's happening here. This is the dam. The dam has officially broken. Remember now, this is exactly what Ed Bannon's lawsuit was about. This is what he was saying in court. This is what he was saying. He said, I walked by on the school, at the school bookstore, and I saw my jersey for sale.
It was Chris Webber too, though.
UCLA and see the jersey. That Chris Webber said the same thing, but they saw this. But this was what Bannon's lawsuit was about. When he said, then I could see people later playing a game. He said, I'm watching people playing a video game. They're using me. They're playing my character, and I'm making no money from that. These are all the things that they were talking about, that if they would just be allowed to monetize just that element of themselves, their imagery. Now, mind you now, in Hollywood, it is against the law to even let somebody speak on film. If a person speaks on film, they have to be paid commensurate with that. You're not even allowed to use somebody's imagery without allowing them to, getting them to sign off on that. So come on, man, what are you telling me? You're getting away with using these athletes, their skill, their labor, their talent, their signatures, their autographs, and then when you get the young man to autograph a jersey or a helmet or whatever it is, you give it to a booster who's already rich, who puts it in his house, who auctions it for his company, who does this, who does that. It's terrible. The mask has been revealed now, so everybody sees this for what it is. Everybody does.
So I'm going to point out two things right now, one of which is the only way this really works and takes off is with the cooperation of the highest levels. Now, the NFL, I kind of teeter as to their true ability to follow through with this because, as we know, it's very clear that if they want to be in cahoots with someone, they find a way to not allow the player that's stepping over that line to see the light of day in any one of their 32 active teams.
Well, the NFL been a good
the
old boy
NBA,
network
I think,
for
is
years.
again going to pioneer this.
Yeah, the NFL, they've been
exactly, and that's why I pointed out that. What's that?
Yeah, I said the NFL, they've been a good old boy network before you and I were born combined. But go ahead.
And that's my concern is that them with college football directly, and the only way is if Vince McMahon and Mr. Luck come together and find a way to get these kids where the NFL then says, well, wait a minute, of course we'll allow them in the draft so we can take them away from our competitor. And now, additionally, we're facing the same issue with academy players in Major League Soccer because these European teams are saying, hey, we want to buy this kid who's a part of your academy, but because he's deemed an amateur and you're not paying him, I can get him from you for free and negotiate with him directly. So we're facing this problem all across the board. It's not just with the kids in the NCAA. It's actually spread beyond that. So it'll be a very interesting way. And the only way that it seems like it's going to actually move forward is if they finally say, you know what, we're going to open the checkbook.
Good stuff. Yeah, boy, I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be watching this one real closely. And no need for a pen and pad, people. Popcorn is what this one's going to require. All right. Again, that number to call is area code 267-687-0026. That number again, area code 267-687-0026 if you want to give us a shout. Or you can hit us up on the chat line, Spreaker.com. I'm in the chat room right now. If you want to chit-chat, then hit me back. Moving on to some NFL action, and I always like to call it around the not for long. Some of the most notable team performances from this past week's slate of games. I'll start with, of course, the Chiefs and the Lions. Now, here's what I want to say about the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes showed why he's the new prototype at the NFL quarterback position. He had by far probably his worst game since he's been in the NFL. Probably his worst game before when he was even in college. And he still found a way to get it done. Come on, people. If you are what they say you are, you make it happen. You don't hold your elbow. You don't come out with cramps. You don't. Oh, I'm sorry. I digress. Double J, do you agree with that assessment? Don't tell me to stop it. I got a mute button over here. I've been threatening to use this mute button, and I'm telling you. I just, boy, I see it's about to be a 218 up in here. Double J, do you agree with that assessment? Is Mahomes that dude?
I'm actually going to disagree this time, and the reason being is because he actually showed he was human. The Lions were able to rattle him a little bit with getting a little bit of pressure. They didn't. You're not going to see too many knockdowns of Patrick Mahomes, but they had shaken him up just enough. And dare I say, he had gotten a little bit of help from
the Zebras,
the referees, if you will. Oh, yeah. They were out in full force with the Calvin Johnson rule took place during that game. A very clear, for example, the whistle should have been blown on the Kerryon Johnson fumble near the end zone because clearly he was darn near down, and I've never seen them wait as long as they had. But on the opposite side of the field, they missed particular calls that were very evident happening right in front of them. And so nevertheless, it was evident that, as you pointed out in the past, you said don't ever let it come down to them where they can make those calls. And unfortunately, the Lions did. But I will say a lot of people are optimistic about what they've seen because, again, this is a Super Bowl favorite that did come to town.
Brother Rich, what did you say about Mahomes and the Chiefs in general?
Well, again, go back and get the tape. In our preseason poll, I said that this young man is who we thought he was. and that is the future of the NFL and an excellent quarterback. Yes, he showed he was human, but nevertheless, as you pointed out, the mark of a true professional is that he can get rattled, take the hit, take the bump, the Lions definitely are better than all of us thought they were, and they're definitely proving their mettle up to this point, and they're coming for it, and they brought it with him. So he definitely took the licking, and he kept on ticking.
I don't know who you mean by all of us, but although I'm not a Lions fan, seems to be I'm based on you and Double J. I'm seen to be a fan of everybody nowadays, especially the Dallas Cowboys. But anyway,
no, just the Cowboys. Just the Cowboys.
Got you.
Just
okay.
The Cowboys. Just the Cowboys. We're not confused about who you're a fan of. We know you.
I think you are. Yeah, I'm not necessarily a Lions fan, but I'll tell you what I am a fan of. See, and this is the reason why it might lend itself to some of the misconstruction and confusion about who I'm riding with or who I ain't riding with. Although front runner and my name, unfortunately, have become synonymous lately, anybody who knows me, and Brother Rich, you know me, Double J, you know me too. Anybody who knows me knows that I am forever a fan of the underdog first and foremost. And that's before it became popular to do or be so. And if I have anything to say right here and now about the Lions, because that's what we're talking about now, in that Chiefs game, of course, the Lions fit that bill to a T. See what I'm saying? See, I'll be on board.
How are you a fan of the underdogs and you're not a fan of the dog pound and you're a fan of the Cowboys?
Hold on, wait a minute. See,
the Cowboys ain't no underdog.
Hold on. See, again, that's where the misconstruction comes in, okay? I'm not a fan of the Cowboys. Let me reiterate and state or restate once again for the millionth, 12,000th time. I am a fan of Zeke and Dak. Zeke getting paid, of course, because I do not like the idea of that position. Sidebar right quick, fellas. The NFL running back position, the conversation surrounding it is that it's no longer in need. And I'm saying bull crap. If you got a running back in the NFL like a Le'Veon Bell, because we had them discussions too, don't minimize the impact that a guy like that and a stud or a star at that position can have and still has, despite it being a pass-happy league. That's all I was saying. And the question surrounding Zeke and whether or not he should be paid, I was appalled at folks taking the position of he don't deserve that money. Why? Because you work for $8.95 at Dunkin' Donuts? Stop it. According to NFL, or based on NFL standards and economy and finances and money and contracts, yada, 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 the dude deserved to be paid. Yeah, he didn't play well against the Saints the other day. We will be discussing that as well, the Saints and Cowboys. But that ain't got nothing to do with the fact that without a guy like him, I don't care who's the signal caller. I don't care who your wide receivers are. I don't care who your tight end is. I don't care how good your defense is. All those things do matter. But without a guy like that to hand the ball off to, it allows for a balance for, yes, that signal caller and that offense, the likes of which no team fan would not want. That's all I was saying. But then somehow or another, you and Double J get in the drop top. Y'all rolling that way, East 95 in December in Cleveland. I don't know why y'all got the top down. You're saying all of a sudden I became a fan of the Cowboys. I'll take that. So be it. And then on the flip side, I want Dak to get paid too. That's why I'm a fan of the underdog. For all those who say what shouldn't or should not be, that's me as the fan. When it comes
Double J.
Hold on.
You Double J, you're the official stat keeper of this program. Aren't those two players you're defending? Help me out. I don't keep up with it. Don't they play for the Cowboys?
That's right. And coincidentally enough, he repeats that he's not a fan coming off of a loss. But that's all.
Thank you.
I said I wasn't a fan coming off a win. What you mean? See, y'all just want to start something, but we're gonna keep it rolling anyway. Like I said, yeah, ha, Helen. I'm a fan of Matthew Stafford. I tell you that right now. Oh, I'm a big fan of Matthew Stafford. Guy passes for 4,000, 5,000 yards a season, but yet and still don't get no love. He don't have no. You know what? Man, don't get me started. Don't get me started. But yeah, anyway, I do agree with you, Double J, that the Lions have apprised themselves very well so far this season, and they have, contrary to what most folks thought, have played better and might end up being overall better than what most folks thought. So kudos to the Lions. Underdogs, yes, I am. Here we come. Moving on. The Browns and the Ravens. I got to say, when it comes to the Browns, that win was definitely decisive. 40-25 to be exact, over the Baltimore Ravens. But here's also what I will say, and it's not a bad thing by no means. When the Browns utilize Nick Chubb in the passing game, what position we talking about again? Oh, running back. You see what the results can be. When they give Nick Chubb the ball, as they should, it provides a balance. Because, see, the question I have here is just mind-boggling to me that, on one hand, you hear the folks when it comes to discussing NFL football say, oh, you need a running game. You need a running game. You need a running game to get there. You need a running game if you're going to do it. Then on the other hand, they're saying, the running back position is devalued. Oh, okay. Well, I wish one of y'all would make up my mind. Anybody? Nobody? Exactly. The Browns did what they were supposed to do. And don't get me started on the teams that they lost to and what they didn't look like so far. I know the Titans won the other day, but the Rams, really? And we'll get to them in a minute. But I'll let you have your say, Brother Rich. With all due respect, I appreciate what the Browns did. They had me watching it from beginning to end.
I appreciate that. We appreciate that you appreciate that.
We who?
Which
We
is
who?
what
We who?
told you.
We who?
We members of the Dog Pound appreciate that.
Save it.
From all over the world. Because we were trying to ask you, people like you, you Cowboy fans, you Dog Pound haters, to let the team settle. And here it is. Here it is. The Ravens players said it prior to the game, that they were tired of all the Browns hype, that everybody was hyped for the Browns. This is what happened in the first game of the year. We see that because Tennessee gave their best shot. Now it's all over for them.
Okay, hold on.
It's been downhill after
Hold
that.
on. Hold on. I just want to ask
the
something.
Browns is a team for some.
Just let me ask something right here. Let me interject right here. You say,
Go ahead.
I dislike the Browns and I dislike this. They needed time to gel. But wait a minute. All I ever said in regards to that, don't get it twisted now. I want them to succeed. I know you and Double J don't believe that, but that's fine. I know what I believe. But anyway, all of the conversation that surrounding the Browns' losses to the Titans and the Rams, not the loss itself, but the fashion in which the games were lost, then the conversation turned into, well, we'll see what happened. My thing is, if we say that and we thought that, because I'll pull up the tape now, prior to the season, the conversation was entirely different. Everybody was wearing orange and brown scarves.
Absolutely not.
Yes, it was.
No.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
No, sir. I don't know if you didn't hear me and on this program, nor did Double J on this program. I don't know who you talked to in the barbershop. You didn't hear me say that the Browns were going to be undefeated. You heard me say that we are going to the Super Bowl. That's what you heard me say.
Okay.
I maintain that we're going to the Super Bowl. I didn't say that we're going to get there because that's what you heard me say.
Okay, I misconstrued it.
What you find now is, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna put this out on radio. I asked for an official calendar from Cleveland to be sent to me out in California, so I could track the games, because I never imagined that we were going to go undefeated. I wanted to track because I know we're going to have some bumps and bruises along the way. People are gunning for Baker because there's a lot of envy at him as a young quarterback with swagger and vigor, and he's got a nice profile there in terms of his NFL profile, and all those Myles Garrett and OBJ and the whole idea of what they've become now. So everybody's gunning for them. So for some teams, that's their Super Bowl, is to beat the Browns. But it started, which I anticipated it would, this week, that
we're playing now the Ravens. Now we're in the conference, and now you're going to see what's going on. And I'm telling you that we're going to surprise a lot of people in the coming week.
Okay,
a
so
lot of people. And as I told you in the beginning of the year, the bandwagon is going to get filled up. And that's what you heard me saying. Don't join the bandwagon later in the year when it's filled up and we're on our way. That's what you heard me say.
Okay,
Pick up the conversation there with me and Double J.
Exactly.
Okay, so wait a minute.
Exactly.
Okay, so
I'm
wait,
gonna
Brother
point
Rich.
this out here.
So wait a minute. Hold your thought, Double J. So, Brother Rich, wait a minute now. So you telling me, let's put it on record since you wanted, because I did. I was supposed to send you. That's my bad. You got me on that. I was supposed to send you the Browns schedule. You wanted a particular kind, and I
didn't say it was you. You put it out.
I
didn't say it was you.
I will admit I don't have no problem. I don't have no problem telling the truth on myself. I told you this is what this platform and this program is all about. You know what I'm saying? That's the essence of this program and this platform. The truth is either true or it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I don't know why you and Double J sitting out here spitting mistruths out, but it's fine. We'll deal with it. Y'all still my dudes. But anyway, Brother Rich, I'm so not a Browns fan, right? Is that what you're trying to say here? Who is the one that told you after the draft about explain off air about Baker Mayfield and what's going to be? Who told you all of that?
It was you.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely you.
Okay, but
absolutely you.
But did the things
that was your basket? That was your football, your sports analytical side. As far as the dog pound, you've been on our back since the season started. You've been riding us like a cowboy, coincidentally.
Oh my gosh. If you're up and around, you're out and about, you want to give us a shout, the number to call is area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. I see things just now getting ready to start getting heated. Double J, go ahead and weigh in on this. Listen, I'm feeling some type of way right now. Y'all sitting here trying to make it seem like I don't want the Browns to do good. Can we at least establish that I want the Browns to do good?
You know, you want the Browns to do as good as you would, you saying to an ex-girlfriend, I wish you the best. That's what that sounds like.
I can't believe
you really?
I can't believe y'all talking to me like this on national TV. Because that's what it seemed like right now. That we can some type of reality show.
We're only telling you the truth.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Rich and I are on first class here on this parade route, in the
snow.
Dragon fans jumped ship early, and I'm going to point this out to you here. If you look at, despite all that's occurred, where we've been able to lay out very clearly where the deficiencies within the team and the corrections needed to be made. And all we did was get a simple glimpse of what the potential was, because I'm going to point out to you, Odell Beckham had 2 catches for 20 yards in a blowout game. This was not firing on all cylinders, and on top of the fact that it appears he was choked during the game.
But
we'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I respect his talent, and I'm glad that he's on the team. But miss me with the diva routine. He punched that guy in the neck.
What do you mean? No. But that's what he is. That's what he is. No, you can't say miss me with the diva routine, because that's who he is, and that's what he is, and we accept.
Okay, well then he should.
And he's there to do a job.
Okay,
so Double J is just pointing out from a foot. You can't deny what he's saying from a football point of view, because again, we talking.
No, hold on.
I'm not about the team. We're talking about football.
Okay, and I'm with you on that. But when he mentioned OBJ and got choked out, and he's saying from a league perspective, we're going to see if there's any fines or whatever for Humphreys. I'm just saying now that he brought that up, I just wanted to add in right quick. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And you know, just like I do, regardless of the sport, if you're a competitor, I tell you what, punch me in the face or in the neck or whatever it is that you did or whatnot, and what you expect, you're going to not expect to get choked out. Man, you ain't about to put your hands in no man's face and do all of that on the court, and we supposed to be out here playing basketball or football, lacrosse, hockey, field hockey. I don't care what, badminton. Come on, man. And I'm glad he on the team.
But I wasn't taking up that point of view.
Okay.
I was taking up the point of view of what Double J said.
Oh, okay.
That he
didn't
even perform. He hasn't even gotten up to rhythm yet.
All
and
right.
you're looking at a team that just is showing you glimpses of what is about to happen with his team. A team that hung with the Rams, a team that beat the Ravens, a team that it was anticipated the Ravens were going to come and run over the Browns.
Well, you mean that same Rams team that the Buccaneers put up 55 points on? That Rams team?
But the point is, what we're here, when they hit. No, we're not
I'm just
talking
saying.
about them when they played Tampa Bay. We're talking about them when they played the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
and how they performed in anticipation that they were playing a team that everyone had a high profile, almost as high as their own, in terms of what they were anticipated to do in terms of their potential solely. And so now we see that potential starting to bubble up, and those of us who are fans of the team are looking, saying, see, this is what Double J is saying. This is what we were talking about. So he's saying, look at this, a blowout win where OBJ barely touches the ball. So when the team gets to going on all cylinders, right now we still have the defense not even cooperating because we're still moving too quickly, still anticipating too quickly, getting silly penalties. Once they settle down in that area, it's a wrap.
I don't argue that. I saw some good football. I saw some football I expect to see out of the Browns every week, win or lose. Just the type of football out there being played, and surely not the type of football we've seen since 1999. That's all I'm saying. But you all bring up valid
sounds
points.
different, doesn't it, Double J?
No, but Brother Rich, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really you gonna do that to me? All right, okay, I got you. Yeah, but
here's something I want to point out here.
Really?
Back to the football is regarding this last game. You had someone in the quote unquote diva, as you coined him, in his face, and they come away with a win, putting 40 points on the board. And you know what you don't hear out of him? I want the ball more. The team got a victory. Somebody, despite the things that took place during the game, it did not take away from the team's win. And that's what you've questioned from day one how he was going to be, if certain things took place.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, even with the early losses. So, again, here's what I want to point out. Their next three games, all three of those are in the hunt for the playoffs. You got San Francisco, Seattle, and New England.
Mm-hmm.
Following that, I actually believe the Browns will win the following 8-9 games that they have.
Okay.
I think all 9 of those follow. But the real test here of any more issues or opportunities within the Cleveland team is going to get diagnosed and or exposed during these next 3 weeks. If they can win 2 of these 3, you are not only talking about the division winner, but you are hands down arguably looking at your number 1 seed. And that includes, of course, the Tom Brady. And based on what I've seen with those guys out of Buffalo, they don't look like a Super Bowl contender at all.
Yeah, they don't, do they? Buffalo.
I'm here to tell you that we're going to win 2 out of the next 3. I'm here to tell you that we could win 3 out of the next 3, but we will most certainly win 2 out of the next 3.
All right.
I'm here to tell you that the dog pound is present and will be here and show up for Duke.
Hey, I don't have a problem with it. I'll tell you this too, though. That run that Chubb had, that 88-yard run, man, that was a thing. That was a thing of beauty. I ain't gonna even lie. I liked him and Sonny Michel, and we'll check the tape on that too, Brother Rich. I said that too. Actually, I wanted Sonny Michel, but I wasn't mad that they got Chubb by no means. But them Georgia boys, they showed enough producing running backs. They showed enough. Garrison Hurst, Herschel Walker, just 2 of the aforementioned names. Yeah. As for the Ravens, still formidable. But you can see, man, they starting to feel the losses of Ozzie, Ray, Ed, Suggs. You know them guys. And now who else would you mention? Haloti Nada. That Ravens defense from a few years ago. Well, I say a few years ago. At least in the last Super Bowl run against the 49ers. They starting to feel those losses, some players' losses. I think they're still a little bit still formidable, but you can start to see that. Again, I agree with you all. I think the Browns are getting ready to start being at the top of that division, not just for now, but for years to come. And I hope Lamar Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Really?
I'm speaking as a sports talk host here. Is that on? Right? Got you. I hope Lamar. I hope Lamar Jackson can enjoy somewhat of a 10-year career, man, because he gon' man. I don't even want to say nothing. I don't want to put nothing out there like that, man. Man. Yeah, right. Yeah, you can't. He can't make a living doing what he's doing with his legs. Do you all agree with that? No, maybe, yeah.
Fact, absolute fact. We said it on this program several weeks ago.
Yeah, he can't. He's not gonna make a living. He can't make a living. You know what I mean? And we saw what happened to RG3. All right, up next, the Raiders and the Colts. We'll go to the Raiders first, of course. Don't look now, but the silver and black are sitting nice at 2-2. I got 2 words for both of y'all. Josh Jacobs. Anybody remember him? Oh, okay. Am I saying that right, Josh Jacobs? Yeah. What? That's his name, right? Double J?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's him.
oh, right.
Absolutely,
Oh,
yeah.
don't sound so
Now, keep in mind here.
Hold it. Don't sound so
I want to point this out.
Hold it, Double J. Hold on. Don't sound so disinterested, Brother Rich, when I mention Josh Jacobs' name and the Raiders. But go ahead, Double J. We'll get to Brother Rich in about 5.5 minutes. Double J, what was you going to say?
I just want to point out to the world that as a fantasy football player, I'm somebody who drafted Darren Waller and Tyrell Williams. So, again, call me the opportunist, but I've seen that these guys had 100-plus targets coming from Derek Carr, who's proven he can throw the ball. But, again, I think, unfortunately, the reality of it is losing Vontaze Burfict for the rest of the season, it was too big of a loss to them. Now, sure, the way he plays is
borderline,
the old school way of playing football.
Yeah, got a little Jack Tatum in
him.
it.
You got to adapt or die.
Yeah, you got a little,
exactly.
You got a little Jack Tatum in him. Yeah, I mean, you know, but I saw the hit, and I saw it in real time. I mean, it looked worse than what it was. I really wouldn't know how to really judge that. But I was kind of like 50-50. But you know, with anything borderline with him, they're gonna always fall back on his track record. You know what I mean? So. And they talking about what a year suspension maybe or something or another. I hear. You hear anything else on that?
Yeah, they were literally kicking around the only 2 options that they were mulling over was the year or a lifetime.
Ooh.
So let that sink in here. We're talking about a repeat offender.
Lifetime. Yeah, you know, they with all the other stuff surrounding the NFL, you know, especially even though we haven't heard about it much, the CTE and this upcoming CBA, you know, they got a bad light. No, they might try to, you know, take it out on him, so to speak, make an example. I don't know. Then I seen him do, you know, I watched him at Arizona State. I don't know what it is. I didn't catch anything like that from him when he was at Arizona State, man. You know, when he got to the NFL, you know, he started seeing some of these. I seen him step on the guy. Well, and Ndamukong Suh was doing the same thing. He's not doing it really much anymore. And Ndamukong wasn't. But, you know, he was headed down that same labeled, quote-unquote, path, too. But I don't know, man. You know, that's why I say football is a violent game. It really is a violent game. You know, he called it a sport, but, you know, the mentality has got to go along to, you know, to go along with it. You know, you expect the guy to turn that off when he's off the field. You just can't do that. You know what I mean? You got to, you know, bring that down gradually. But, yeah, Brother Rich, do you want to say something about the Raiders?
Except that I agree with everything you just described in terms of watching how the Vontaze has developed and become this other person.
Yeah.
And it's because of exactly what we're talking about. What are you doing when you're playing a sport where you're hitting people like that all the time, consistently? So are you getting progressively better or are you getting progressively worse? So we're watching him getting progressively worse in front of us. So he's doing more and more mindless nonsense that we know he got to deal with later on in his life, is it? And so he's one of those players that unfortunately we're going to hear later on that he got injuries and CTE and this, that, the other, because he's running, like we said, we call it a sport, but it's really legal violence. And he's using it, and that's the whole idea. What kind of talk is he getting in the locker room? What kind of pep talk? Yeah, we're gonna go out here and we're gonna knock so and so, and we're gonna do so and so, and he intends to go out and live that. Yeah, let's be honest. Now, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. That's a real good point too, man. That's a good point. The Colts, who the Raiders played, of course. You know, it's looking like the division, that AFC South is going to come down to the Colts and the Texans. But I just don't know if the Texans, man, if they just – I don't just know if they got enough to hang on. I love Deshaun Watson for sure. But the Colts look like the front runner, even despite the loss, to win that division. Do you think so, Brother Rich?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you at all.
Yeah, I think so. What about you, Double J? You think the Colts will win that division?
I do. I think to the surprise of many, but not to us. Again, as we will point out, we have a lot. We had a lot of confidence in Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's a lot of things.
He continues to keep his team in the game.
It's a lot of things we said on this program that wasn't being said nationally that, we said, however long ago. But it's all good. You know and I know. Therefore, we both know. Patriots, as Double J pointed out, no doubt good because they are the Patriots. But make no mistake, it helps when you play the Jets and the Dolphins multiple times in your division, or that they in your division too, right? Double J?
Oh, without a doubt. Now, not only that, a little hypocrisy was shown by the quote-unquote GOAT by pointing out that Vontez's hit was not, I guess, was poorly timed, but the hit that knocked out Josh Allen in his game was simply a part of football.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that they gave the Bills multiple opportunities to win that game.
Yes, they did.
And offensively, they were atrocious. They did not bottle it in. They didn't try to just run the ball and the clock out. They were trying to throw. They could not do anything. And so I was torn between crediting Buffalo's defense, which, again, oddly enough, despite the offensive deficiencies over these last 2 years, they've been pretty stout. But
yeah.
I really believe that New England has regressed. The Antonio Brown situation has affected them more than maybe people are alluding to. You're starting to hear whispers that Stephon Diggs may be a trade target from Minnesota because of the way that Kirk Cousins is making nearly $90 million and doesn't seem to know how to use his arm.
Yeah, we get into that too.
But nevertheless,
wasn't Stephon?
New England looks like they need help.
Hold that thought. Wasn't Stephon? Not hold the thought, but. Wasn't Stephon Diggs with the Patriots already once before?
No, he was drafted from right out of college to the Vikings.
Okay, well, who am I thinking of? Cordarrelle Patterson. He played with the Vikings. He was with the Patriots or whatever. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, man.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, can't stay on top forever. And it's time for some new blood to, get on top of that or sit on that throne, if you would. But the Bills, let's talk about the Bills, too, though. You just mentioned, despite the offensive deficiencies, they 3-1, man. Do you think they'll get their offensive stuff turned around? I mean, is that 3-1 legit?
It would have been had Josh Allen been healthy. They would have been that scrappy team that very similar in terms of how they operate, just like the Chicago Bears. Defensive heavy, game management. They're not going to they don't have offensive superstars across the board. Mm-hmm. They have guys that can get the job done, essentially very much game management. And defensively, they can, based on field position, they can beat you that way. Mm-hmm. And they can get the big stop and or the turnover. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, when you lose your starting quarterback, and again, we just also seen it, speaking of the Bears, they're both in a very similar situation regarding their quarterback.
Yeah, I think Chase Daniel's a little bit better, though, than who the Bills had. I forget who the Bills had back there.
And that's what happens when you've been in the system for more than a year. And again, this is why you talk about, how do guys like Gardner Minshew come out and have a level of success, or you can even look back to years past with the Matt Flynn to the Case Keenum.
Yeah,
these are guys that have just simply stared at a playbook for years on end, and now they get their chance, and they're used to throwing to their guys in the practice squad. So you're going to achieve a little bit of success when you know what you're doing.
Yeah, the number to call is area code 267-687-0026. If you're up and around, you're out and about and want to give us a shout, That number again is area code 267-687-0026. The chat lines for Spreaker.com we are on as well are open. Brother Rich, you think the Bills are legit? And the Patriots, Father Time?
They're more legit. I will absolutely tell you that the Bills are more legit than most of us would have given them credit for up to this point. However, I continue to point out that this is the franchise that went 4 straight times to the big Super Bowl and did not finish it. So they have so much to prove that we can't even begin to discuss them as a franchise until much later than this point that we're at. But they certainly are performing better than most people thought they would up to this point, without a doubt.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you saying that, man, without a doubt. Yeah, okay. The Bucks and the Rams. Now, we mentioned the Rams a bit ago, but the Bucks put up 55 points. Did you, Brother Rich, did you see that coming?
I did not see that coming at all.
Double J, did you see that coming?
But again, Jared Goff is not the best.
He's not. Yeah, I was getting to that. You kind of stole my thunder. Double J, did you see that 55 coming from the Bucks?
Personally, I did not.
Gotcha.
I think we just seen the absolute best of what Bruce Arians can get out of Jameis Winston, and that just shows that a lot of these folks apparently know what they're talking about when it comes to Bruce Arians.
About to say,
to have a guy he was one season away from never being heard of again. And now he comes out here and within a couple of games, again, we were ready to write him off, and then they kind of surprised the world and beat Carolina in Carolina. But to travel 1,000 miles, and, I do want to point out how brutal their schedule is. If you get a moment, take a look at Tampa's travel schedule.
I don't think
they go back
I'll
to
get dizzy.
Tampa to play until November. I kid you not. Their next home game is actually in London.
Brutal, because you mentioned Jameis Winston. If it wasn't for Bruce, Jameis would be a bust. Kudos to Bruce Arians. It was once upon a time that I thought he might be the Browns head coach. Either him or Russ Grimm would have been fine with me. But anyway, yeah. And he probably would have been had it not been for the health situation he had. I think he had some sort of heart procedure or something, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was some sort of surgery or something he had. It was kind of major. But yeah, I'm glad to see him back on the sidelines as well. But yeah, Bruce is somewhat of a quarterback guru, because if you can turn Jameis Winston around, and you can turn anybody around. Well, maybe not Tim Couch, but anyway, that's the second time for the Timmy reference. Yeah, I didn't see.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this out there here.
Go ahead.
With Drew Brees out, despite I'm going to give Teddy Bridgewater all his kudos because he beat your boys. But
stop it!
Don't be surprised here if Tampa shocks the world and wins the division. If they continue this pace and they get those home games later in the season, and you got a winning record, which means all the fair weather fans are going to come out. The barbershop Jays of the Browns fans.
Really?
They may make some noise here.
I mean, what is it with taking this? You and Brother Rich, y'all just been taking, man, okay, I got you. I got y'all. Okay. Oh, you find that real interestingly funny enough, huh, Brother Rich? Yeah. We'll see how the Bucks do. They might surprise some folks or whatnot. Yeah, because, but in an instant, things can turn around, because 5 minutes ago, Jameis was looking terrible. And all of a sudden, he done turned it on. So, and the Bucks defense is not bad. I don't know what they sitting at as far as league rank and whatnot, but for the most part, the Bucks defense has always been solid. So, again, it's all about balance, man. I think the success in the NFL especially, is based on the type of balance that you have on both sides of the ball and the balance that you have amongst all three phases. That's your special teams, offense, and defense, of course. Let's talk about the Rams. I'm telling you right now, Jared Goff is over.
Before you do that, I just want to point out that Shaq Barrett, speaking of their defense, he has more sacks alone than 10 NFL teams. So just let that sink in when it comes to the success of their defense.
Dang. I didn't even know that. Good way to point that out, Double J. Dang. Oh, that's bad for them other 10 NFL teams. Probably one of Brother Richard's favorites. Yeah, golf is overrated. Sorry, not sorry.
You can't put me in your room. We know he's overrated, so yeah.
And I also want to point out, and for all those household names on the other side of the ball, that defense can be had. You know, Double J, you and I on Facebook or whatnot, and, you know, we've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it in your threads. I've seen it in mine a time or two, this comparison between Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack. No disrespect to Aaron Donald, because he's a force in a spot at nose tackle, of course, where if you can get pressure in the face of a quarterback, make it difficult for him to step up in any one of them lanes, whatnot, that's a big deal. No, and we all know Donald. But I'm taking Khalil Mack all day, every day, because there's no way the no way the Tampa Bay Bucs offense, despite Bruce and Jameson's possible resurgence, there's no way in the world they should have put up 55, even if it is any given Sunday. There's no way in the world the Rams defense should have gave up no 55 points to but they even last year, they Super Bowl run, they was suspect on D, and that's the part that amazes me. You got all these names, sort of like what Bruce Allen. Was it Bruce Allen? Who's Washington's owner? Daniel Snyder. What Daniel Snyder tried to do some years ago, buying all them defensive players. Man, you know my theory on being bought versus being built, but we're not gonna go there today, right? That Rams defense can be had. Now, Double J, you play fantasy football. I don't, and I only say that because fantasy has become reality. Explain to me how the Los Angeles Charger, Rams, St. Louis, wherever they're from now, I don't know, how they can have all of that star power on that side of the ball and be as porous and finger cross. I mean, they got their fans with finger crossing moments. The two just don't seem to go together, man. Could you help me out with that, please? How is that the case?
Well, you pointed it out. It's simply the fact of the quarterback play. You when you're telling me that your quarterback number one target is your slot receiver, that tells me you have problems.
But wait a minute.
When you're telling me that your second highest paid running back in the league is not getting the ball, that's a problem.
Okay, so hold up. Now, that's this season. I'm with you. That's fair. But let's go back to last season, because I'm seeing things this season that I've seen from last season. Again, those two elements were not the issue last season. It got them to a Super Bowl. But that defense was. So I get it going into this season.
The defense.
Go ahead.
You got to remember, the defense lost in Ndamukong Suh this year. They added Clay Matthews, who's, let's face it, these guys are looking old.
Well, football will do that to you. Football will do that to you. Yeah.
So you're talking about a lot of guys that were hoping to cash in and get one more run out of this team, and instead they're being asked to produce at levels that I don't believe they're fully capable of anymore. Their schedule doesn't help them out this year.
Well, I don't feel for them. I don't. I really, really don't. Brother Rich, yeah, you know, you out there on the L.A. side of things, man, you know. You all up and down that coast over there, you know. Are the Rams, you know, they're building that new stadium out there too, you know. Is it even worth it?
Well, I think that what Double J said, what you said, points to what, and I'll just tie it up like this. This is a team hastily put together for the big market. They were coming to L.A. They had to get a team. They had to get these high-profile players. They had to make some moves, and they did just that. Nevertheless, like you said just now, football is a sport which you get old very quickly. So in today's football, Aaron Donald is becoming an older player very quickly in front of us, a slower player, this, that, the other. The team is becoming older. And so then there's a question of whether or not this team can continue to compete in the division at the rate that they did last year, whether last year was just a fluke. And has the team caught on yet in the market that they're playing in? And I can tell you that pretty much the answer to that is no. They have some fans, but not in the way that they anticipated.
So there are a lot of different things that's working out with the Rams that you'll see at play on the football field. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's a franchise. They done moved about 30 different times, man. I know they got to be tired of that because if they keep going at the rate they're going, they're going to be moving again.
But they're at home now, though. With the stadium that they're building, they're at home now.
Okay.
With that kind of investment, they're at home. $3 billion.
Okay, well, it don't take much to put up a for sale sign. Up next, the Vikings, and then, of course, we'll go to the Bears. Double J, I know you saw it, man, because I was watching the game. And you mentioned, we talked about Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook's expression on the sideline. Did you see Dalvin Cook's expression on the sideline, Double J?
I sure did.
Man, that expression said all you needed to know about Kirk Cousins. Oh, man, Kirk Cousins is terrible. Kirk Cousins he's terrible, man. And, I'm not going to get into the money thing. I told you, just the sport alone, every NFL player, whatever they're getting, they deserve to get. But just on the performances, I'll grade your performance all day, every day. Man, Kirk Cousins can't hit a bull in the backside with a shovel. And Dalvin Cook's expression said, when they say words, there's no words need to be, what's already understood need not to be said. Oh, man. And they stay, and I forget I don't know if it was like one of the NFL post-game shows. And when they showed that, when they were going through the highlights of that game, and they showed his expression, they stayed on his expression for it felt like an hour. But, man, I could not stop laughing because his face said it all. He's like, I can't believe. He had that expression like, I'm about to ask to be traded next week. Oh, man, what did you see, man, from the Vikings?
Well, that was just it. We didn't really see much of anything.
Yeah.
Except for the fourth quarter. You're talking about a team that went up against, and let's give all the credit in the world to the Chicago defense. I know that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
They are the monsters of the Midway again. And so all the credit in the world goes to them. This looks, I said it before, they look like the 06, 07 team that went to the Super Bowl. And I brought up the comparison between them and Buffalo, but they are the one. It's very rare in this stage of the league that you can have a defense that can fully put the team on their back. And they did that. And as you pointed out, you're talking about a backup quarterback in Chase Daniel, who, let's face it, did anybody really know who Chicago's backup was coming into the season?
Yeah, I did.
Exactly. So he came into the game. I think many thought that, okay, this is it. This is where the wheels fall off the bus. And instead, he looked better out there than Trubisky did.
Yeah, he did, actually. And there was I'm in a group in Chicago, some Chicago cats of mine, man, and they went right in on it. Like, is it a quarterback controversy in Chicago? And I was like, ooh. I was like, no comment. I mean, again, eye test is the ultimate litmus test, if you ask me, more than any, statistical, what I call it, BPI, RPI, rankings or whatever it is. That eye test say a lot, And then if you're watching it without
the interesting development,
the volume
is to see, because Mitch is going to be out for a little bit, when it's time for him to return. Depending on if this team keeps performing this way, who is behind? Who's running the show?
Brother Rich, what do you want to say about your Vikings, man? What happened?
I don't know where you get your Vikings here from. Don't confuse me with people who are Cowboys fans.
Oh, you're right. You saying it right the first time. Browns fans, right? You don't have a problem saying y'all when you're talking about me.
Fan, but
yeah.
No. We know who you're a fan of, sir. We know that you're a fan of Mr. Jones.
Oh, yes, save it.
Nevertheless, as far as the Vikings are concerned, they are who we thought they are. They are who we thought they were.
But
I say, sir.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I say that to say this. As far as them making a switch at quarterback, it's what it is, 50-50. They're moving along. They're playing well. They're playing up and down. That's where they are. They're middle-of-the-road team. That's where they're going to be.
Yeah.
That's what we go back and check the tape. That's what we said about them at the beginning of the season, this preseason, When we made our picks, this is what we said about them. They're going to be middle of the road. Absolutely.
Yeah, and my guy that I work with, Shabani, he's a big Vikings fan, and I met with him. I mean, I ran into him after that, after that game or whatever, and he said, man, he said, man, Kirk Cousins is terrible. I said, dang, dog, and he just walked off. I said, oh man, that's my dude too, man. But he was disgusted. But brother, which I'll stay with you on this one.
Right.
Can Chase Daniel play the role of Trent Dilfer or Brad Johnson? Because the Bears, man, they got everything else. I wish they'd throw them throwback uniforms. I wish they'd throw them back
very
wherever
easily
they got
because,
them from, though.
Come on, now, let's be honest now. I mean, who is Trubisky? Come on, let's be honest. What has he shown somebody? Come on.
Hold it.
People are just surprised that he even.
Hold on. Trubisky is right here from Northeast Ohio, but he ain't one of them guys I say is from Northeast Ohio just so I can say he's from Northeast Ohio. He was and I know it's high school, but you got to look him up now at Menor. He was the one that he was behind. He orchestrated a couple of them wins against the vaunted Glenville Tarblooders here, that Ginn Academy and whatnot.
I'm not talking about what he did in his Ohio program or what he did in your Cowboys or Legends program. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what he's doing as a professional in the NFL, where he's playing currently. What I'm asking you is, what has he done
for me lately
thus far that says he is, for instance, if you say Patrick Mahomes, everybody knows. Okay, we know who that is. If you say Jackson or this one, or there's certain of these young quarterbacks that if you say their name, even Dak, you something comes to mind right away that this is one of the happening stars, the quarterbacks that's doing something in the league. You don't think about that with Mitch Trubisky. You think of him like, oh wow, at least he's not throwing the ball to the other team. Because at least he's a competent
brother Rich.
That's how they look at him.
Man, no, you didn't. No, you didn't pull your Gander Mountain knife out and cut that man.
Fact.
Yeah, so
because
disrespectful.
This is what Chicago has had in terms of quarterback. This is what they had.
Yeah, I know. I even miss Jim McMahon myself. Jim McMahon was a dog too, man. He did not care. That was my boy. But anyway, a little bit of revisionist history. Yeah, Double J, man.
If you just want Jim McMahon again, just look at Gardner Minshew. He looks like him.
Oh, stop it. Well, no, actually he does. Oh, now that you mentioned that. All right, Double J, you on top of it today. Since we got rid of the test.
He dresses like him too.
He dressed like Jim McMahon. Really? No, he don't, man. No, he don't.
Go back and see how Jim McMahon used to carry himself sometime in the early days.
Yeah, he was a loose cannon for sure. He challenged the NFL at every turn he could, man. I tell you that. But I would like him at BYU. Be honest with you. But anyway, a lot of folks don't go back, as far as they can when it comes to football. He's just now joining the program. Double J, the Bears defense. Is it as good or better than that Ravens defense?
You're saying the Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed defense?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy, is it? This is the show we ask the tough questions.
I'm going to say no. And the reason why is, as I just pointed out, those are 4 Hall of Fame players. I other than Khalil Mack, Aaron Lynch is not a Hall of Fame.
You don't think Trevathan would be Hall of Fame?
Without a ring, no. I don't think he hasn't gotten enough respect on his own. You got to remember, pre-Khalil Mack, that defense was middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So this guy has been able to come in, and this is really why I want him specifically to get every accolade known to man that he's available for, because it's rare that you can plug in one player on the defensive side of the ball that can allow the rest of the team to reach their ceiling. And you're seeing it, like you stated, Trevathan. I mentioned Aaron Lynch. I believe you got Leonard Floyd on the other side. You got all these guys that have moved around the league, and for the most part. Sure, Kyle Fuller's been there for since he was drafted, but otherwise, other than Trevathan and Fuller, everybody else has been journeymen.
You know what?
That had potential, were early first-round picks, and now they've gotten settled in. Why? The catalyst, Khalil Mack.
Yeah, and I want to mention right quick, Roquan Smith. I don't know what's going on, but it's been reported that something's going on with him, man. I don't know if he's just, mentally not there. I don't know. I can't even really elaborate on it. I just wish whatever's going on, because it came all of a sudden here, this news about Roquan. Whatever's going on, man, I hope he gets the help he needs or gets better or whatever it is, because I would like to see him back on the football field if that's even possible. But, yeah, man, it just, we talk about scores and points and which team is what and who going to do good and whatnot, man. But, the reality is that football, as we know it, in the sport we call it, it's it's violent. It's beyond violent, even with all the rule changes. You just talked about Vontaze Burfict and that hit. That guy could have been out. And then we mentioned years ago, before fantasy football became a reality, what Jack Tatum did to Darryl Stingley, the wide receiver for the Patriots, put him in a wheelchair. So, yeah, man, it's violent. I wish him well, man. I wish he, that everything works out for him. But, yeah, man, that defense, man, I'm with you. Without a ring, we had to see. But that defense right now, as we said last week, I believe, we mentioned the Bears too, at every level, man, they got a problem. They got a problem for you, man. If they get any type of offense consistently, I'm going to go on record right here, right now and say, let the Bears somehow find a way offensively to manage averaging 21 points a game. That being said, Double J, everything remains the same, being able to average 21 points a game, could the Bears win the Super Bowl right now, this year?
Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah. It just simply put, look at the state of the NFC.
Yeah. What about you, Brother Rich? You think the scenario I just painted, the picture I just painted right there, the Bears average
without a doubt,
yeah.
without a doubt, this is a championship franchise. These players are absolutely Khalil Mack. Without a doubt, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too. If they could average, if that offense could find a way to put up 21 a game, they'll win the Super Bowl this year. And that ain't no knock against anybody else's Super Bowl aspirations and teams or whatnot, but that defense is just that good, at least this year. All right, the last two teams up for the day, for the program, are none other than the Cowboys and the Saints. Now, collectively, let me say this. This game looked more like the Texas Rangers versus the Houston Astros. And I say the Houston Astros because they don't have a professional baseball team in Louisiana, but the folks in Louisiana, of course, those that do like baseball follow the Houston Astros. And to me, that's what this one looked like. The Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers. That team them folks in Louisiana root for. Dak, 223 yards, 1 interception. Teddy Bridgewater, 193 yards, interception. For both parties involved, I'm saying downright awful. That game was terrible. But I digress. Brother Rich, go ahead, have your say, man.
Well, it's interesting that you saved your favorite team for last, but nevertheless, and it was the worst game, probably one of the week, but nevertheless, But again, it was one of the worst games of the week. It was terrible, very terrible. Uh-huh. I watched because I know it's our whole favorite team. So, but it was absolutely terrible with a capital T and a verbal. Uh-huh. But nevertheless, your boys showed again that they are a team that has all the marketing budget behind them so that people tune in because they get all the limelight and all the spotlight. But somehow whenever the biggest spotlights are on them, they kind of always disappoint.
Got you. Double J, you want to pick up where he left off? Man, I so hope y'all don't be riding that drop top in December.
I waited for this.
Oh, boy. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. They were who we thought they were.
Oh, stop.
The ones you would crown.
Right.
When? Stop right there. No, stop right there. At what point did I ever crown the Dallas Cowboys? At what point? Exactly.
Well, you continue to praise and crown Ezekiel Elliott. Now let's pay Dak as well. Let's just throw Jerry's money around because all these guys that you stated have earned it. They deserve it, right? And then they go out and they lay an egg against a Drew Brees-less New Orleans Saints on Sunday Night Football.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't act like
watching.
Don't act like the Sunday night and the Thursday night games have not been atrocious here lately, but continue.
Well, I'm going to actually agree with you on that.
Thank you.
Let's say I'll give you that one.
Okay, thank you.
Because of the way that Cleveland played against the Rams on a Sunday night.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll go eye for eye on that one.
Okay, fair.
But nevertheless, they had no excuses on why they could not move the ball. Zeke couldn't get going. Dak could not. I mean, I didn't even realize, was Amari Cooper playing? He was, but he was. You're telling me Amari Cooper was locked down the entire game? So he was in no man's land. He was a ghost. Defensively, Alvin Kamara is that dynamic. As much as we want to talk about Zeke, Alvin Kamara outplayed him.
Yeah, he did. But Alvin Kamara is let's go back to fantasy football. If you done made most of your picks and you got running back and you see Alvin Kamara on the board, I mean, he usually one of the first guys to come off, as well as Zeke. So they really like in the same category. So I'm not, I'm not surprised.
No.
Yeah.
And that's my point. Though.
In terms of impact,
you're going to sit there and say that.
In terms of impact, you don't think Alvin Kamara's impact? Yeah. No.
I think he has a bigger impact than Zeke. Absolutely. I'm actually going to say the opposite, but Zeke's the one who's gotten rewarded with the contract.
Well, I mean,
look at how much Kamara's a third-round draft pick. That guy's making less than Russell Wilson did coming out.
But he'll get paid, too, when it's time, and I'll be on the show right here on this program championing for him to get paid, too. Continue.
Wow, you see that he's gonna move a little further southeast there, Brother Rich.
No,
closer
I'm not.
To Miami, as you would say.
Well, you mentioned Miami.
Back.
I say Coral Gables, baby. I'm going to champion Double J. I will champion when your son plays for FC Barcelona. I'm going to champion for him to get paid, man. He should be getting paid already, by the way. But anyway, he might be. He's just not telling you. Yeah. I'm champion for any player to get paid, man. That's all it is, man. That's all it is, any NFL player. Because the NFL as an entity is almost, to me, I see them in the same light as I do the NCAA. Come on, man. Come on, man. Now, where's your facts for that, Brother Richard? Oh, I don't get none for that one, huh? It's cool. I'm chilling. Yeah. But that game.
The point is,
we always give you a fact for that.
But the point is what, Double J? You just want to add insult to injuries? Go ahead.
We're not going to allow you to deflect anymore from the Cowboys fiasco on Sunday night.
Okay, so wait a minute now. The score now, because it was both. Last time I checked, it was two NFL teams, professional football teams out there, right? Right. The score was 13-12. I've seen the Cleveland Indians put up more runs in less than 5 innings than the two teams combined did the other night. Now explain that, player.
You're absolutely right. But here's the difference. Your boy, Dak Prescott, is the starting quarterback for your Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, wow.
Teddy Bridgewater is the backup. If they were to see each other again, which I believe they will, just given the nature of how Tampa Bay is playing, the way that the schedule actually lines up, where potentially Breeze's return would be when, remember I mentioned how long it takes until Tampa actually gets back home, would be that game.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
About a month from now.
Okay, let me ask you this question, though. True that Bridgewater was the backup in this game. Of course, the Drew Brees being out. But wait a minute. Was Teddy Bridgewater not a starter in Minnesota? Oh, okay.
Well, exactly.
So don't try to make it seem like
your boy.
But don't make it seem like Bridgewater is a backup, because that's what he's been. Like he came in the league as a backup. Bridgewater was that dude in Minnesota till he got hurt. Okay, he was about to be the next I mean, you know, I'm just saying, you know. But, yes, in that game, if you want to be technical, yes, he was the backup, and Dak was not. Dak was the starting guy. I get it. Yes. He should have thrown for 1 touchdown. As a matter of fact,
are we kidding? Are we here, Brother Rich? Are you hearing this? Making the apologist for the Cowboys and
I'm not.
Oh, the doubt. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at the way he scheduled all of this. Yeah, absolutely. I'm hearing it.
This is unbelievable.
The listeners are hearing it too, and they understand that They understand they're listening to a Cowboys fan.
No,
listeners, I will hope you're listening. Our host is a Cowboys fan. He is a Cowboys
He's dodging the bullets like the guy in the Matrix.
Don't hate.
Cowboys.
Don't hate. Congratulate.
Right now.
Don't hate because I got slip game like Floyd and Sweet Pea. Rest in peace. Whitaker. Don't hate. Congratulate. Hey, I'm not making a case for the Cowboys, man. I'm not. I wish I would have never said anything about that because you all are not going to let this go until season's end. Matter of fact, I can see right now this is going to be a trend that's going to carry on over to next season. But it's
the
cool.
listeners in Northeast Ohio where you live shouldn't let it go. That you and LeBron are Cowboys fans.
Oh no! Ooh, that was one of them ones that was that kind of punch that knocked Shawn down in the fight the other day. You know what? You was dead wrong for that, Brother Rich. I promise you, I'm letting the people here know right now. On this next program, Brother Rich, after we make the introductions to Brother Rich, we will be muting him for the first 15 minutes of the show. I'll just let y'all know that right now. Fellas, as always, good stuff. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Oh, boy, I tell you. Don't forget to check us out right here on the Spreaker.com network. You go in the search box, you type in the Shop Report. Or you can check us out on our Facebook fan page, Twitter, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and give us a follow or subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know, I want to mention something about Google Podcasts right quick. For whatever reason, man, they have not recirculated our newest shows or whatnot. So if you go to Google and you have trouble, don't worry about it. We're working on that to try to get that fixed. But, yeah, our YouTube channel. And, of course, you can always send us an email, theshopreport365@gmail.com. And you can let us know if you would, any topics that you'd like to hear from us or to discuss, or just, you know, send us a line, man. Just let us know how you like the show, if you don't like the show, things of that nature. And if that don't work, of course, you can Google it. For my man's B. Rich up there in NYC and my cat Double J on the north side of things. And all those who support us, follow us, please subscribe. We say thank you. I'm Barbershop J, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. Remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla!